Inspiration Nation, hello, Lee Kemp here, back for another week on the podcast. Almost back at full strength. Last week it was Joe flying solo. Now it is myself and Joe, with Ryan still feeling a bit under the weather. So sending lots of positive thoughts and much love out to Ryan. How are we doing, Joe?
Yeah, good. Yeah, good, my friend. Sending lots of love to Ryan. I know how hard it can be when you're not feeling great. So it's difficult. So yeah, I'm feeling good. What about you, Lee? How have you been?
I'm good. Thanks. We'll try and do an able job of manning the ship with the two of us today. Thanks everyone out there for listening, watching, podcast players, YouTube, Instagram as well. Wherever you are, we really appreciate you. And don't forget to follow us on social media. We are at Listen to IN, Listen TOIN. Joe is all over the place. Just put Jose Noya, JOSENOYA, Inspiration Nation into any search engine, and you will find Joe across all those platforms. Loads of great content, daily videos still going. We're getting close to the 800s, I believe now, Joe, aren't we?
Yeah, 777 today.
Look at that. That is fantastic. Really powering on. I love it. So what are we talking about for our New Year's inspiration for everyone? Now we're into 2021.
Well, I thought we'd look at habits, and I got this lovely email. You know, we love a bit of Robin Sharma here, don't we?
We certainly do.
We love a bit of Robin Sharma. I'm just waving here to people on Instagram. Hi, Will and Johnny, how you doing? You all right? Thanks for joining. So just thought I'd work on habits for 2021. We always do this, don't we? Every year, everybody gets together and they want to develop a new habit. And the thing is, I believe in not really waiting for a new year, but we're nearly there. So let's just work with that. All right. Hey, Pichava, how you doing? All right. Look at this, because people joining us is great. I just think we should just do it anyway without having to have a special time of year. But it's great. We've got that as a bit extra incentives. So I've got a couple of habits that I wanted to do. So Robin Sharma sort of sent an email through, and I thought we would look at these habits and see which ones that will speak to you. So what I'm going to do, Lee doesn't really know what they are. I'm going to read them out, and then I want Lee to sort of pick one that speaks to him, and I'm going to pick one out too. We're going to talk about it. And while I'm reading them out, I want you guys here as well to think about what habit speaks to you and really think about dialing that in. Robin Sharma likes to say installing habits. And I think that's a really good thing, because to install a habit, it takes repetition, etc. So let's just read them anyway. So let me just go through these. So habit number 1, speak not anything negative. So try complaint fasting for one day, then stretch it into a week, then months. So transformation begins with tiny trumps, never wholesale change. So again, don't speak anything negative, don't complain for a day, and try that out. Habit number 2, don't buy what you don't need. Again, he recalls a meeting with a super successful financier. He told me he never visited shopping malls. The reason for that is because he didn't want to go to places where he might be persuaded to buy things he didn't need. So frugality is a colourful badge of self-discipline. So again, it's having that self-discipline. It's not necessarily not buying anything. It's about being self-disciplined, about not buying what you don't need, which I really, really loved. So things like that. Number 4, keep a night journal. Before you sleep each evening of 2021, record what you learned from the day and what you'll improve tomorrow. So I do that. I do a little bit of journaling, and every night I'll just do, what do I need to improve? 1 thing I need to improve, and 3 things that went great through today. Number 5, don't check messages until noon each workday. That's a tough one for some of you. I know that'd be quite tough. Tough one for me. Understand this might not be possible yet. That's what he says. Yet too many of us destroy our positivity, creativity, and focus by reading emails, scrolling through social media during those ultra valuable first hours. So when you're most productive, scrolling through things like that, but reading emails, probably not best use of your most productive times.
Did we skip number 4 there, Joe?
What's that?
Did we skip number 4? I think we might have.
Oh, come on,
your enthusiasm.
I'm getting some way. So number 4, well done, Lee. Study for an hour a day is number 4. It's remarkable how many people are unprepared. They show up for meetings with little advanced knowledge, deal with customers in a minimal expertise, and have little sense over what their future will look like. So in 2021, read, write, strategize, and reflect for at least 60 minutes a day for breakthrough results. So that's quite a tough one. Like 60 minutes a day is quite a long time. Again, you'll really benefit from doing that. And number 6, hire a fitness trainer. Again, when he works out with a trainer, he gets much fitter because someone's pushing him. I myself, I go running sometimes, or just do my morning routine. So something to think about. Number 7, represents noble virtue. Yes, there are many selfish people in the world, and yes, pessimism grows. Yet this age is a beautiful period to live the ideals that the heroes have lived. Over 2021, beginning in January, resolved to operate with honesty, imagination, hard work, compassion, and courage. Now, that's a tough one. If you can do that, amazing. Number 8, leave everyone you meet better than you found them. I love this. So true leaders and genuine heroes are hope bringers. They make people feel bigger, never smaller in their presence. They have a trained gift to inspire and activate other humans to own gifts they didn't know they had while achieving feats they never dreamed they could do. I just love that one. Number 9, have a bias for doing the hard things. Again, he's got a book out in 2021 about the best ideas that he knows that elite people have that massive productivity and they know that they have that kind of high impact that launches movements. But one of those things is consistently embrace activities that are really difficult and hard. Hard is what makes you stronger, more skilled and braver. Doing easy act has very little reward. So what you know do is easy. You need to sort of push yourself. That's what he's saying. And number 10 is join the 5 a.m. club. So I get up around 5 a.m. I mean, it's a bit holiday now, so I'm a bit late because I have to go do my day job, but I do get up early on the weekdays. And again, it's getting that 5 a.m. piece, getting up early, starting the day so you can think and be clear because that 5 a.m. is a really quiet time, maybe before everyone wakes up, and it's a real productive time. And getting a morning routine for that built in that day can really set you on the right foot. I know it's really helped me, like making the bed, all those types of things early in the morning really help that productivity. There you go. So there's the 10 habits. So Lee, I know I've been talking a bit there. So, which one speaks to you? Have you got any thoughts?
That was a very quick rattle through there, Joe.
Well, I wanted to really.
It was good. I like it.
Well, the thing is, we only got half an hour. So, I want to make sure we get some massive value in here. So if we go.
So before I tell you mine, what do you think my one would be, having looked at that list and knowing me?
Well, I think it's the emails one.
Oh, absolutely not. I just glazed over that one. Just glazed over that. Is that about not looking at your messages until noon?
Yeah.
No, I don't. Didn't even glance my radar as something I'd want to do, to be honest with you.
Cool.
Joe, you normally send your wake up messages about 6 a.m. I can't wait for 6 hours to see what you're saying.
True. Okay. Good point.
If I'm going to adopt one, and we'll track this over the next few months, there's 2 I want to talk about, but the first one is leave everybody you meet better than you found them. I love that. I think that's a brilliant mantra to live by. And just the full wording again for what you said, because I pulled it up while you were talking, because that really struck me. So it says, leave everyone you meet better than you found them. True leaders and genuine heroes are hope bringers. They make people feel bigger, never smaller in their presence. They have a trained gift to inspire and activate other humans to their own gifts they didn't know they had, whilst achieving feats they never dreamed they could do. That is who I want to be for 2021.
Love it.
I think if I can just, like it says, just make people feel good about themselves, whatever they're doing, if it's something they're trying to do, if they're struggling with something, anything like that, I just want that in my consciousness, that my reaction can, push people one way or the other. And I just want to try and be as conscious as I can in every interaction about that. And, I like, and I put out a tweet the other day about, there's no glory in doing the easy things and telling people to dream big. And that's what I want to do. And if I can help others do that, then that's even better. So that one really spoke to me. That's going to be me. If I can it's too long a thing for a t-shirt, but if I get it on a t-shirt, that's what I'd be wearing.
So what's going to be the first step then, Lee? What are you going to do to make it happen?
It's just got to be there. Every interaction I have, everyone I talk to, I've just got to keep reminding myself that's what I do and assess. Oh God, I was going to say something as well. One that I wrote down. So when you started talking about it, I grabbed a quick pad to write down a few bits so I didn't forget, because there was 10 of them. And there's 2 I wrote down that I liked, and one that I wrote down and put several crosses against it, because I'm not going to do that, which is the journaling one. But I think it might help me with this.
So because you've been you don't write, do you? You don't tend to journal at all. You just go with it, don't you?
I might do a am I making everyone better journal.
Wow, that's a big one for you, isn't it? And what that, so is that journal going to be the written kind, like a book, like a pad or something like that you can dedicate to it, or is it going to be electronic? So now we talked about that episode, didn't we, about journaling and whether we could use electronic or whatever. You had got you would draw things out and look at the past, and so what's it going to look like? Is it going to be a pad? What does it look like for you?
It's going to be a physical notebook, and I'm going to write in it, and I'm going to write down It's basically, I'm going to ask myself that one question every day: is have I made people better? And write down the successes and failures that I have to remind myself, oh God, I can't believe I just signed up to do that. That's what I'm going to do, because that's how it'll work. And I want to do it. It's given me motivation to do it.
So you came out because you said about in your tweet about you said that what was the tweet you said again about that? You just said it, and I liked it actually on Twitter, and I retweeted it about doing the hard
There's
things.
no
Right?
glory in easy, and I said dream
That's
big,
it.
people.
Yes, there's no glory in easy. So that almost speaks to another one on this list, doesn't it? Which is interesting. So you've almost got two, but as I say, yeah, that's going to be difficult for you, right? Because you don't do it. You got to make time for it.
There you go. I'm going to
and
night journal to keep track on 8, so I'm doing 2.
Wow, I just can't believe you're doing this.
I even, so people can see it, and this shows, because I don't write very often, so my handwriting is awful, and I actually put night journal and 2 crosses because I wasn't going to do it, and now I've linked that I am going to do it, so it's there. It's happening.
Let's talk about the process. And I know because it's between two of us today, and it's a shame Ryan is, because I think you'd have a great view on this. But you put 2 crosses, and then you decided to do it. What actually was going through your head when you said, "I'm deciding to do it"?
When you said, how am I going to make that happen? How am I going to make the Leave Everyone Better? And the only way I could thought to do it is, well, I'm going to have to assess. I'm going to have to question myself. And I need a mechanism to question myself. I can't just say I'm going to do it every day. I need a reminder. We've talked before about my memory that works and doesn't work sometimes. And this will be something that slips off until I make it routine. And I think if I've got a book there by the side of my bed, which is where I keep it, the same place I put my phone when I put it to charge, I can't forget it's there. And I can ask myself that one question every day.
That's brilliant. And the thing is, guys, Lee is one person, when he says he's going to do it like this sort of commitment, he does do it. Like, in terms of, I can see this one being, because I think this speaks to everything that he's doing at the minute, actually, for you, Lee. I think this is a really big thing. But you always had this anyway. You always want to help people. I mean, that's what you've helped me get this podcast, so you're very much in that place, helping people make things happen. So I think it's a natural progression. But if you to write it down and make a commitment to actually commit in pen to paper, and not an electronic version, which I would think would be like an iPhone, pretty good. But it's actually, I think there's a massive difference actually writing things down. I think it actually goes in more, or you physically get a pen and writing it. I think it's definitely helped me writing things. It definitely helped me on blog and things like that. It made me more, I think, conscientious of how I write. It's definitely good programming for your brain when you are writing. Doing that page day, what I do is just, it's off the charts. And sometimes I forget to do it at night, so this would be quite good for me as well. Like actually doing it at night, I do most times, but sometimes I miss it because I go to bed or whatever, and then I've got my journal out. So I usually get my little journal. It's around here somewhere. It's probably anyway. Carry on, Lee. I was just looking at my journal.
Well, no, I'm now going to ask you what one off the list would you like to talk about and or adopt?
Well, it was going to be the same one. I really loved that one. I did say as I was going through.
Number 8, yeah.
I love it. That just speaks to me 100%. And but you've got that one. Well, we both got it anyway.
We can both take it, Joe. They're not exclusive.
Yeah. Well, I always aim for that. When I speak to people. I'm very conscious about that. I want to help people. I don't want to. I would want people to be honest. If I've offended them or anything like that, I don't want to leave them in a worse state. I want to, to help. If they've got a problem, how can I help with it? Or how can I coach them? It's always been a mantra, so that's really good. So for me, what's the other one really? I do well. There's quite a few I'm really quite conscious about. I think the one maybe for me. So when I do the hard things, I think is always a thing that I'm pushing myself on. I'm always wanting to do a little bit harder. So not that because I think doing hard things is a very personal thing. Someone. I mean, I mentioned it previously, but Mark Drager had a guy called Iron James, the Iron Cowboy on, and he was doing 50 Ironmans in 50 days. I mean, that's crazy hard, right? But that's something that's just that for me is not my hard thing. That would be blooming hard on me to do it. I don't feel I could do that. But I think the hard things are personal things. So me pushing myself every day, like doing the cold showers and things like that, I think I want to take that on. But I'll always look at that anyway. Leave everybody that I found. I always want to do that. That's something I always try and be intentional about when I'm doing my journaling. Hire a fitness trainer. I'm not going to do that. I don't feel I'm going to do that. I mean, I do my running and stuff like that. I do my press ups in the morning, so I feel I'm right level for that. At the minute, I haven't got the funds to commit to that at the moment, so that won't happen. Study for an hour a day, keep a night journal. For me, I think it's going to be speak not anything negative. Now, I'm picking this one not because I do speak negative, but because sometimes I'll feel something negative, and I want to start to be really conscious of that. Um, like, I want to be conscious that when I'm doing something, like I'm not speaking it necessarily, but I might be thinking it. But that's not so good. But I want to be more conscious of that. So I think for me, would be to not necessarily speak not anything negative, but like think not anything negative, to really double down on that. And I'm pretty good now, but I think I want to improve on that. All these are pretty good. How am I going to do that? I'm not quite sure. I'm going to reflect on my journal, obviously, because even my last journal, I want to get it. I think even the other day, I felt a little bit of resistance when I was giving something to someone. I felt a bit of resistance. I felt like I didn't, like I knew the right thing was to give it, but I felt a little bit of resistance as they're giving it. And I felt this thing. I said, what's the reason I feel that? So I put in my journal, I put be less resistant to that giving piece. So I've maybe got to get rid of words like resist and things like that, and put in things like just to give, right? So I think things like that for me are going to be the ones that are going to be something like that for me. And I really want to be conscious of my language. Not that I do that, not that I don't speak in things, but I can get quite emotional sometimes with families and stuff like that. The family stuff. Hi, Nina. You okay? How you going? Welcome. Thanks for joining. Really appreciate it, Nina. So that's one for me, really. They're all really, really good. 5 a.m. club, I do that on and off. So there's a few here that I do sort of anyway. What's this one here, actually? Represent noble virtue. Yes, there's selfish. Yes, there are many selfish people in the world, and yes, pessimist grows. Yet the age is a beautiful period to live in. Ideals that heroes have lived. I want to do that. I mean, again, all these things, I want to do them all, right? And I always aim to be honest. I want to do the right thing. And that's really, there's quite a few dropped on there, Lee. I know it's like I've been a bit scattergun with it, but these are quite things that I have bits of, and I just need to, I think, elevate them this year.
Pick one to elevate. You can only have one.
I'm going to go for number 7 then. I'm going to go for that.
What one's number 7?
So represent noble virtue. I want to be that I want to be the change in the world, I suppose.
Okay.
Honesty, imagination, hard work. How am I going to do that? It's probably another reason. I'm just going to have to do more hard work, I suppose. Look how I can maybe push the envelope on some of the stuff that I do already. Maybe ask you guys a bit more feedback on what I do. Because I'm doing quite a few bits now. Do I have to drop certain things to meet those sorts of things going on? Being compassionate, trying to make sure I'm more compassionate with my family as well. Like, cause sometimes I get a bit obsessive around InspirationNation. I don't stop talking about it. I am literally on this all the time. I'm sitting there watching TV and stuff like that, but literally I don't stop thinking about InspirationNation. I literally am obsessed with it. And so for me, it's maybe, having compassion and making sure that, I want to be the best dad. I want to be the best dad. I want to be the best coach. I want to be, the best leader. I want to be the best trainer. I want to be the best in everything. But I recognize, you've just got to work at all those things. And maybe, it's dialing in one of those and thinking, okay, how can I be compassionate in all those areas? Because probably, to be fair, like, my family sometimes call me and I go, Dad, you're going to be more of a dad, right? And I go, look, I need to do this. This is my work. I'm working on my dream, right? Because I'm working my dream. Like, every time I work, I'm working on my dream. So maybe I need to be more passionate to my family when they need me. But I'm pretty good. I think I'm pretty good, but I think I could be better. So maybe more thinking it through, Lee, thinking about you, maybe taking more of my family's views into consideration. Because I literally, maybe not, with my family, I'm quite hard with them. I expect a lot from my family because I do this stuff. When they're like struggling with something, or I tend to push them. Whereas if it was someone I didn't know, I wouldn't push them as much. I'd be more, I suppose, more question and less. I'd be pushed, but it wouldn't be as hard push.
Yeah.
And so maybe I need to think a bit about more of that compassion in that end. I don't know if that answers your question, Liv. If I answered the question.
You have, and about 10 other ones as well, which is good. That's what I like, Joe.
Yeah, I mean, I know, I mean, it's really hard for me to pick because I think all of them for me speak to me. But as I say, you know, I have to pick that second one would be that. Um, so yeah, so I hope I've answered your question. I know I went on a bit, but there's so much going through
Yes.
my head at this point that I think I can do more. So Nina's put on here actually, hey, you've been great already, so compassionate. Bless you. Thanks, Nina. Appreciate that. I want to be more compassionate. I think I can always be better. I think that's a thing that I'm striving for all the time. And again, sometimes I think we all need to recognize, sometimes we need to recognize what we've done good. And sometimes I can almost like, oh, that's good. That worked. And then I'm moving on. Right. So maybe a bit of reflection on that. I don't know. But I'm just thinking out loud now.
That's good. I like it. The other one I was going to mention was the first one, which is the complain one about don't complain for a day and see if you can make that longer.
Yeah.
Because I think, as you know me, at heart, I am an analyst. So I look at, you know, interactions, people, situations, things that are going on, and then I vocalize them a lot, especially in current world, and that, you know, contact with people is on video or on the phone or on emails or whatever it is in every walk of life now, because I don't very often leave the house. Especially now part of the UK I'm in is in tier 4 as well, so it's even less chance I leave the house. But because I share my thoughts on the situation, I think a lot of it comes across as complaining, whereas in my head I'm not being negative, I'm just sharing a view, and it might be a negative view, but it's not done for a negative reason. And I suppose if I was going to put a second one in, albeit I've shoehorned journaling in as well, then I think I'd try and just be more aware of how I put those views across, so it doesn't come across as complaining, because it probably turns people off to whatever I'm saying straight away if that's how it comes across. So I think being a little less, still keeping my heart on my sleeve, but just making sure the message is in the right way. So that's going to be something I'm going to have in the back of my head. But the prevalent one, which I think overlaps with it, is the leaving everyone feeling better. That's where my focus is going to be.
So those two link together, really, don't they?
Yeah,
because
they do.
You're in a room, you know, and then you leave that. It could be a meeting. You leave that room, and people feel a bit deflated because of the way that's operated. That's both linked together. No, they seem to sync. I was going to ask, what would be so? How would you know you're doing it? What would be? How would you reflect on it? How would you know that that's happened? Because sometimes we can do all these things and we don't really know we've done it. So how would
I think
you know?
I'm going to put it out there that that's something that I'm conscious of, and basically ask certain key people I trust to keep me in check with it, and try and build up that mental trigger. Because that's what I need. I need the trigger to stop so it becomes natural. But I think I'll probably need people either at the time or afterwards to give me that bit of feedback so I'm aware. I think that will be a shot in the arm for me.
Do you think then there's still a bit of emotion when you do that? Do you think there's still that? Because I know we talked about it before, haven't we? Where, you know, we've grown a lot, right? In this podcast, we've grown a lot. There's that emotional button, isn't it? When it's pushed, we still tend to do that thing, don't we? Sometimes where we would just maybe said it in the wrong way.
Yes.
Or we'll just say it quite forcefully when we should have really maybe taken a step back. So it's all those types of things, really.
That's it. And I think that feedback hopefully will give me that perspective to take a step back. And I think if people give me that feedback and I feel a little bit defensive inside, then it's probably the right feedback and the feedback I need.
I think the thing with me, and I'll give you an example, Lee, actually this year it happened, and it's kind of my yearly review like we do in our industry. And there was a bit where I was really rocking with the leadership and all this stuff I'm doing, like coaching and everything. And something popped up, which is like a bit of what I'd say my old type of role was. And it still is. I still have to do it, but I really don't like to do it. And and talking about that complaining bit, and I said, you know, and someone said, oh, you need to do this, and I put, well, I've got this to do, so I can't really do that, and I was like, and I reacted really emotionally, and it was really interesting because the person obviously I report to, which they're so kind, and I knew they wouldn't bring it up. I knew it, like I just knew in my heart they wouldn't bring it up, so I brought it up, and I put on my review, I said I could have handled this better. And it was interesting because they actually gave me feedback. When I gave them permission to pull me up on it, then we could have the conversation.
Yeah.
I'd already looked to resolve it anyway. I'd already looked to resolve it. I'd already put things in place to make a change in that area because I know it's something that's a deliverable for me that I have to do. But I did do it. But it was good that we could have that open, honest relationship. But I think now it's accelerating even faster because of that, because that vulnerability. So I was wondering whether there's anything in that, whether you can pick anything from that, whether you might adopt something like that, where it depends on who you're talking to and who you can trust, really, I suppose. But I believe that the person that I work with, I have that I trust them, so I could be vulnerable, and they would tell me the truth, and it would be the hard thing, right? Look at those rules. The hard thing is to be honest with yourself about the things you've not done really well, and lean into it and go, do you know what, I didn't do well, that I could do better, but this is what I'm going to do it better. And that's really what I put in place. And I started, and by the end of that review came up, I'd already done a load of things to put that right. And I promised myself that if this comes up again, I'm going to make it the best thing that I would have done, right? Even though I don't want to do it, I'm still going to do it's going to be better than it was when I did want to do it. Like, so I'm making a resolution to do the hard things. So again, that probably speaks to that resolution. So I've really resolved that. And I want to really make sure that I do that. So yeah, it's only leaning on your bit.
It's good. Lee. No, I like it. I like it very much. So we have here on air, a few days into the year, we have made our resolutions for the year. And as you know, as we know, and hopefully people listening and watching know as well, this isn't about, a hot shot thing. It's New Year. We've got to make a resolution. Personal development, personal growth, challenging ourselves is what we do. It's what we're here to try and support and encourage other people to do as well. It's a timely thing to do it at the start of the year, but we'll keep going. And, this certainly won't be the only time of the year we'll be setting goals for ourselves, but we'll definitely keep tabs, certainly over the next couple of months, on how we're doing with these. And maybe either on the podcast or offline separately, we'll get Ryan's thoughts on these as well. So he's, enjoying the growth with us as well.
Well, I think the whole thing, we used to have this journey update. We haven't done one of them for ages. Well, maybe you have to have one of those.
Yes, that sounds like a good idea.
Maybe we'll incorporate into that at some point. But yeah, so again, as we said before we started, I think you don't need a special day. You can start straight away. And just remember that you're going to fall off the horse a few times, and it's okay just to get back on it the next day. As a word of reference, James Clear, Atomic Habits, it's about just keep trying. You're gonna make mistakes. I've made mistakes. I just told you one I've made, right? And I talk about this stuff. And the whole reason I do this stuff is because I need to remind myself that I need to do this stuff, because no one's perfect, right? We're always learning. And there's always going to be a different version of it coming up to try and stop us doing what we want to do. But we've got to look at it straight in the face and go, okay, didn't do that well. I need to be better next time. But there's also that compassionate bit as well. I don't want you going beating yourselves up about it either. There's got to be a bit of compassion as well when you need it. But deep down what needs to happen. If you want to do it, the accountability is with you, no one else. No one else can do it for you. No one's going to come rescue you. You've got to step into it, but you can be supporting. We're hoping this podcast does actually support you in reaching those goals. Because we want to be your cheerleaders here. Like this podcast is a cheerleading podcast. We want to support you. We want you to dial and go, do you know what? I feel much better, feel supported. And that's what we really want from this podcast. So you can go off and do your big, hard things, right? That Lee said, right? In his quote, which was fantastic. I really loved that, actually. We want more of those, Lee, by the way. I think that's really good. I want more of those this year.
I'll get working on it. I've got a few ideas already.
Have you? Oh, that's fantastic.
Absolutely.
Honestly, it really got a good reaction on Twitter. I thought it was really good. So I think more of those. I think, honestly, I love those sorts of things. So more of that, Lee, please.
100%, Joe. Everyone, whatever podcast service you're listening on or you're watching us on YouTube, we really appreciate you. Appreciate everyone on Instagram as well. Hit that subscribe button where you are. Leave some comments, leave a like. We appreciate everything. Don't forget to give us a follow on social media as well. The show is at Listen to IN, Listen TOIN. Joe himself, Jose Noya, just stick it into any social media search engine and he will be all over the place. He absolutely loves a bit of social media. Appreciate everyone watching, listening, downloading. We will be back again next week, hopefully with a full complement of the nation. I think all that's left, Joe, is for me to count us down. 3, 2, 1.
Inspiration Nation.
Catch you guys later.